This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
A thick blanket of fog is settling in across central Indiana. Now at 6 o'clock, we're tracking where the fog is the thickest and how it's impacting your morning drive.
Answers could be coming for residents forced to pack up and move out. Working for you, the legal action being taken against the owners of a mobile home park following an RTV6 report. Plus,
essentially, he was saying, we're making lots of money on JT's customers. Scalping.
A disturbing account from a former salesman accusing a major auto dealer of racist behavior. We're breaking down the lawsuit he just filed.
And he's accused of adopting a little girl and leaving her behind while he took off to Canada. This morning, Michael Barnett is sharing his side of the story only with RTV6. But first, here at 6 o'clock, we want to get right to your weather forecast because this is what could impact you on your drive to work.
Yeah, Alyssa Donovan has been monitoring this fog all morning long, and in some spots we're seeing it grow even thicker and thicker.
Yeah, so it's growing thicker to the south of us. That's mostly those river valleys that are seeing this fog develop right now in areas around lakes. But we are seeing that visibility way down right here in Indianapolis as well. We've been talking about it all morning. We are seeing that poor visibility, that patchy fog developing. We're going to continue to see that spread northward as we head through the morning, and then it will start to dissipate right around sunrise. But you can see on our Salesforce tower cam that we do have those low-level clouds as well. That's helping keep that fog close to the surface this morning. We are down to just that quarter mile of visibility here in Indy. Down in Columbus, we're not getting a reading, but you can see there is some very heavy fog there as well, down to a quarter mile of visibility in Bloomington. So we're seeing that spread southward and northward. Muncie seeing that visibility go down as well, just to 5 miles of visibility. And we are seeing that all because we have this moisture that's moving in ahead of this low pressure system that will start to push in more clouds as we head through the day. You're also going to notice just a little bit more humidity in the forecast later this afternoon. The main thing that you'll notice, though, is that fog as you head out the door this morning. You'll want to give yourself a little bit of extra time. Not nearly as chilly to start today. In the 50s, we'll hit 60 by 10 a.m. Noon will be at 70 degrees.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. It is 6:02, and here's a look right now outside in Fishers. This is I-69 at 106th Street. Traffic in this area has been picking up, but it's traveling still up to speed. No delays or crashes to slow you down. So let's take a look at your drive times, planning out your commute here, coming in from the west side of town. Maybe you're getting off from a flight at the airport, heading towards the downtown area, Ronald Reagan Parkway to I-65 at the South Split. No delays. It is a quick 12-minute drive.
We are following breaking news this morning. The owners of a historic building near downtown will have some cleaning ups to do after a car slammed into it. The crash happened around 2:30 this morning at 16th and Delaware Streets. Police say the driver, a 26-year-old man, was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. It appears the driver was not wearing a seatbelt. At this hour, police are still trying to figure out what caused the crash.
Well, we were the first to tell you about a mobile home park on the southwest side, telling its residents that they had 60 days to pack up and move out.
But some of those mobile homes are not mobile, and after hearing nothing from the park's owners, residents of the I-70 mobile home park called us here at RTV6.
And this morning, the Attorney General is stepping in, taking action against the park owners. Our own Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with the very latest on this situation. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so residents here at the I-70 mobile home park are waking up knowing that their voices were heard because of this right here. A lawsuit filed by Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill against the owners of this park, the Blue Lakes Incorporated. In August, Blue Lakes Incorporated told residents they had to either move their mobile homes from the property or they would be demolished on October 15th. Residents called RTV6 looking for help after being left with a list of questions and very few answers on why they had to leave the property. Some of them telling us they paid months in advance to rent the plot that their home sits on. In August, we brought a lawyer to the park to give the residents some legal answers. Chase Heiler, an attorney with Christian Legal Clinic, came to the park, and after answering several legal questions, he gave residents complaint forms for the Attorney General's office. He said if enough people submit their concerns, it might get the attention of state officials, and it looks like it did. The Attorney General's office is going after Blue Lakes for deceptive consumer sales, knowingly violating the Consumer Sales Act, not obtaining permits to sell mobile homes in Marion County, and exploiting senior citizens who paid for mobile homes they never received the titles for, as is state law. We'll continue to follow and update this story for you online and on air. For now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Kelsey, thank you. The Marion County Health Department is taking action following an RTV6 report revealing that there was no hot water at a Speedway apartment complex. Now, Wednesday morning, we reported that several people who live at Lexington Green and Villa Capri say their apartments lack hot water. Residents there say they fear that the water tank will not be fixed because other maintenance requests have been ignored. Health Department officials say if needed, they plan to write orders for the complex to fix those things. So if you have a problem and you're not getting the answers you think you deserve, just reach out to us here at Working For You at RTV6.com. We'll see what we can do.
We are waiting to hear back from a dealership, a car dealership that is, facing a federal racial discrimination lawsuit. Jeffrey Turner claims he was fired from Mercedes-Benz Lafayette in 2017 for insubordination after reporting allegations to Mercedes-Benz North America. Turner says he complained about the head of the auto group's repeated use of the N-word, including bragging about regularly overcharging African Americans for vehicles.
It was simply a word that was being used openly multiple times, 6 or 7 times specifically that morning in a sales meeting, and he was really boasting how good a job I was doing. And essentially he was saying, we're making lots of money on JT's customers, we're scalping.
Turner is suing the dealership and Mercedes-Benz. He's seeking damages and a trial by jury.
At 6:06, the man accused of renting his adopted daughter an apartment up in Tippecanoe County and then abandoning her is sharing his story with RTV6.
So the reports of changed her age, dropped her off, left the country, we're missing a lot in between there.
Michael Barnett, who you saw there, and his now ex-wife adopted a young girl from Ukraine in 2010, but they say the girl was actually an adult who was pretending to be a child. At some point, the court legally changed her age from 8 years old to 22 years old at the couple's request. Barnett claims the girl threatened, even tried to kill the family. He regrets not realizing something was wrong when the adoption agency first contacted the couple.
They sought us out. We did not contact them. They gave us very little information on Natalia, and they told us you've got 24 hours to make a decision on if you want to adopt this special needs person. You got 24 hours. We're not giving you any information. It's a closed adoption.
A hearing on a motion to dismiss the charges against Michael Barnett is set for Tuesday. You can read much more about this complicated case right now in the RTV6 app.
2 people face charges in connection to a double homicide at a busy intersection on the west side of Indianapolis. On Wednesday, IMPD announced the arrest of Dwayne Lucas and Terrell Red. Investigators believe they were involved in the deaths of 25-year-old Shanita Caffey and 26-year-old Miles Cross. The pair was shot on Lafayette Road near Tibbs Avenue on August 5th. And a man convicted of killing a 1-year-old girl on the northeast side will spend 53 years in prison. Investigators say Darren Banks shot an assault-style weapon into a home on Whitfield Street in March of 2018, killing Malaysia Robeson. Brian Palmer, who is also charged in the case, is scheduled to go to trial next month.
It's 6:08. A key feature in the planned community justice complex is starting to come together. Mayor Joe Hogsett and other community leaders giving a first look at the construction on the Assessment and Intervention Center. This facility will be the cornerstone of the Southeast Side complex. The goal is to treat mental health and addiction. Mayor Hogsett says 2 2016 task forces showed 30% of Marion County inmates suffer from mental health challenges, and nearly 85% suffer from substance abuse or addiction.
We cannot jail illness. We cannot jail addiction. We cannot rely on prisons as healthcare centers. If those approaches worked, this problem that we face today, it would have been solved and disappeared long ago.
The community justice complex is being built on the grounds of the former Citizens Energy Coke site near Prospect and Keystone. The complex will also include a courthouse and a detention center.
Dozens of chicken products are being recalled this morning. After the break, the reason behind the recall and the products you could have in your refrigerator.
And a simple thank you could mean more than you think. Straight ahead, our Hiring Hoosiers coach explains how it could help you land your next job. Alyssa.
And we are dealing with some issues for drivers this morning. Patchy fog developing across central Indiana. What you need to know and what areas we are seeing that thickest fog coming up.
19 Rogue.
It is 6:12 on your Thursday, and we're keeping a close eye on traffic as fog is settling in all around central Indiana. This is a look on the east side. It's getting more dense, as you can see here at I-70 and Emerson Avenue than it was maybe an hour ago. We're going to be checking in with Alyssa Donovan to show you the worst spots for visibility. But plan ahead, give yourself plenty of space between you and the car in front of you, and use low beam headlights. So job searching, it can be stressful, and there's a whole lot you need to remember.
But after that interview, the note you send could seal the deal or put you in the running for the next opportunity.
And this morning, our Hiring Hoosiers career coach touches on the art of saying thank you.
You want to send a thank you note within 1 to 3 days of your initial meeting. Email is always the fastest, but it's not as personal. Sometimes we need to go back to those basics and consider a handwritten letter. They're personal and they leave a good impression. There's definitely things you want to include. First of all is your greeting. Make sure it's the correct form and spelling of the person's name. You want to express your thank you immediately. State the reason why. Be short and to the point. Next, you want to write what you look forward into doing in the future. Restate your thank you again and end with your regards. But whatever you do, keep it short and sweet and express your gratitude. Lastly, you want to edit it. Editing is a crucial part of this process. You need to proofread, you need to check your grammar, and make sure the letter or email is professional. And remember to send it. It's never inappropriate to give thanks. People love to know they're appreciated, especially in the workplace.
And we want to say thank you to our career coach. For more helpful advice from our Central 9 career coaches, you can just head to our website, hiringhoosiers.com.
Hiring Hoosiers works to connect you with job opportunities now and in the future. Westfield officials say hundreds of new jobs are coming to the city within the next few years. Gordon Food Services is building a brand new distribution center in the Hamilton County community. The facility is expected to create more than 200 jobs initially. That number could double by the end of 2025. The new facility is expected to open in late 2021. Hourly wages are expected to range from $20 to $25 an hour. At 6:14, Alyssa Donovan still monitoring that fog out there.
Yes, and it is just continuing to spread across central Indiana. You can see on our Salesforce tower cam that's facing west, we have these low-level clouds that's helping sock in that fog and keep it very close to the surface right now. We are seeing that really spread from the south and move northward this morning. Not getting a reading in Columbus, but you can see we do have some thick fog there as well. This morning we're down to just a quarter mile of visibility in Indianapolis, just about a half a mile in Bloomington, 5 miles of visibility in Muncie. Taking a closer look at some of our local areas, we are down to pretty much 2 miles of visibility across most of central Indiana, 3 miles of visibility right now in Fisher. So as you head out this morning, as Lauren said, use your high beams and or low beams rather, and be aware of that. That is outside today. We are going to see that quickly clear out though. That will dissipate right around sunrise. We'll be left with partly cloudy skies to start the day, and then those clouds will increase ahead of this system that's just off to our west. We have this low pressure system that's been impacting some of our western states throughout the early part of the week, and now it's moving into the Midwest. It's going to help push out this mild air that we've been seeing. We've seen those temperatures climb a little bit each day in the forecast this week, and now we're going to see this pass along with the cold front, which will bring us showers and thunderstorms throughout your Friday before we cool down quite a bit on Saturday. Now, ahead of that, a little bit more cloud coverage today. By the noon hour, we'll hit the low 70s, climbing into the upper 70s this afternoon with partly to mostly cloudy skies. And then later today, late tonight, I should say, we could see a stray shower, maybe a thunderstorm over some of those western counties. But most of the activity will likely happen tomorrow throughout the day, with a chance of those showers and thunderstorms in central Indiana in the morning. Better chance of seeing those for some of those northwest counties. Our best chance here is going to be showers and thunderstorms late in the afternoon and overnight. So here's a look at TrueCast. Tomorrow morning, seeing those showers and storms moving northwest in the morning, and then we'll see that lull period about midday before the bulk of that system moves through in the afternoon, evening, and overnight, bringing scattered, widespread showers and thunderstorms. The good news with this system is we're not expecting any severe weather at this time, just widespread scattered showers and storms. 79 for our high today, partly sunny skies. Those storms likely for your Friday. 75 for the high, and then we cool way down. We have the coolest air mass in place of the season so far, starting us in the 30s on Saturday morning. 55 for the high on Saturday.
Alyssa, thanks for keeping a close eye on traffic this morning. Here's a live look for your commute up in the Whitestown area. I-65 near State Road 334. Traffic is moving along just fine, picking up for you both northbound and southbound. No delays to slow you down. So let's take a look at our traffic now map. Other than the fog, really no issues right now on your roads as you're traveling southbound on I-69 through Hamilton County, starting here at State Road 13, heading down to the I-465 ramps. Everything's traveling up to speed. It is a 13-minute commute.
New this morning, a Northwest Indiana correction officer faces charges after reportedly attacking two people inside of a home. Hammond police say Sasha Cooper attacked her ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend in the man's home earlier this week. The 33-year-old woman reportedly attacked the pair with a flashlight and pepper as they were sleeping. She is now facing charges including battery with a deadly weapon. Cooper started working as a state corrections officer in January. She has been suspended while the incident is being investigated. The gunman who opened fire at a Walmart in El Paso, Texas on August 3rd, killing 22 people and injuring 25 others, will be arraigned today. Patrick Crusius has been ordered to appear in court and expected to enter a plea. A grand jury has indicted Crusius with capital murder, the highest charge in the state of Texas. If he is convicted, he could face the death penalty or life in prison without parole.
At 6:18, Johnson & Johnson will have to pay a man billions of dollars after he says one of their drugs made him grow breasts. A Philadelphia jury ruled that Janssen Pharmaceuticals must pay Nicholas Murray $8 billion. Janssen is the parent company of Johnson & Johnson. Murray says that he grew breasts after being prescribed the antipsychotic drug Risperidol. Now, Johnson & Johnson apparently plans to appeal this ruling. In a statement, the company called the verdict grossly disproportionate. The sale of flavored vape products will be temporarily banned in Washington state. That's starting today. The State Board of Health says the emergency rule it passed Wednesday will last 120 days. The board and the Department of Health will work with the Liquor and Cannabis Board on plans for implementation and enforcement. Vape shop owners are worried about what the ban will do to business.
We're small shops. A lot of shops won't be able to pay their rent for 120 days without product to sell.
The ban follows Governor Jay Inslee's September executive order directing the health department to adopt emergency rules banning flavored vaping products. There have been more than 24 deaths associated with vaping confirmed in 20 states now.
If you have chicken in your fridge or freezer right now, listen up. There's a recall you need to know about. The concern here, possible listeria contamination. We're talking about multiple types of chicken, even products that contain chicken. It was sold under multiple brands in dozens of stores, including Trader Joe's, Kroger, Aldi, Target, and Bi-Lo. Tip Top Poultry issued the recall last month and expanded it just this week. You're going to want to look for a produced by date from January 21st through September 24th. You can find a full list of the brands on the USDA website. And IKEA is recalling thousands of infant bibs worldwide for a choking hazard concern. The company says the piece that snaps the bibs together can detach and end up in the baby's mouth. The bibs come in a 2-pack, one red, one blue, and have the store's logo printed on a white tag on the back. The company says 7,000 were sold in stores and online. If you have one of these bibs, IKEA says to return it for a refund.
A new study indicates that a healthier diet can improve depression in young adults. A study published this week finds eating a healthy diet for 3 weeks improved depressive symptoms in young adults. The study shows cutting down on processed foods and eating more fruits, vegetables, and fish resulted in improvements. Those who kept up with the diet for 3 months continue to experience an improved outlook on life.
How far will you go to show support for your favorite team? Ahead in our Trending 6, why one Indiana man is actually staying put for his team.
Toyota, let's go places.
It is 6:23. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. We are monitoring fog for your morning drive, and you're looking at 2 different views. One of those with all the clouds there is on top of the Salesforce Tower, where you can see the fog really settling in here over downtown Indy. So visibility is reduced all over central Indiana. Alyssa Donovan will be breaking down the worst areas for your drive that is coming up.
Well, before you head out the door, it is time for the Trending 6.
These are some of the stories that everyone is going to be sharing online and talking about today. Well, Old Snowman Winter is being quick to visit Montana and the Upper Plains. Look at that. Despite the snow, the golf game must go on. This was the scene yesterday in Billings, Montana during the high school state golf championship. You can see there the golfer having to clear a path in the snow. The golfers say the trick to playing golf in the serious winter storm is to be patient on the greens.
This month, the Kennedy Center in Washington is showing paintings by former President George W. Bush. The exhibit, titled Portraits of Courage, honors men and women veterans who served in the years after September 11th. Each of the 66 portraits on display tells the veterans' story of resilience, determination, and recovery. The exhibit is now open until November 15th.
A man of many talents, I guess. Look at those. Well, she may be small, but she's mighty. And we're talking about Gucci, the Pomeranian. She's credited for saving her owner, George's, life after a fire started in their home. Look at her go. George says that he didn't hear the smoke alarm, but Gucci's barking woke him up. The pair was able to make it out safely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This sweet girl is preparing for winter. Voters picked Holly to be this year's Fat Bear Week champion. The online competition highlights the changes brown bears go through during hibernation. Alaskan brown bears are already considered the largest brown bears in the world. Park rangers say the bears eat about 90 pounds per day to prepare for the long winter. Hashtag jealous.
Yes, work it, girl. Well, Tesla owners may soon have cars that sound like horses, goats, and other unique sounds. Elon Musk tweeting that his company plans to launch customizable horn and movement sounds for its vehicles. Well, Musk says he may have to give the owners the ability to upload their own sounds for the car's horn. I wonder what could possibly go wrong there.
This next guy probably would want a Bengals roar. A Milan, Indiana man is taking his Bengals fandom to a new level. Jeff Lanham says he is staying on the roof of his cafe. He has everything he needs up there. Food, drinks are being delivered from below, a phone charger and a table for company, and Jeff's TV is coming soon. He'll be up there for at least a few more days. The Bengals play the Ravens on Sunday. Okay, we left out the most important part of that story. He is staying up there until the Bengals win.
Oh.
They got a big goose egg right now for their season.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone knows they are not the best team in the NFL.
What if they never win?
Well,
he's going to be living up there.
It's going to be a long winter.
He has everything he needs, though. Food, drinks, and a phone charger.
Yeah.
That's all you need?
Yeah. Exactly.
Settle in. All right. Well, hopefully they have decent weather where he is staying. And back here at home, what can we expect outside?
So we're seeing some changes today. We're starting with that patchy fog this morning. We've been talking about it all morning because it is continuing to spread, and it will likely impact your morning commute. We're down to a quarter mile of visibility in Indianapolis. Today, we are going to climb a little bit warmer into the upper 70s. Some areas likely will hit the low 80s, but we are going to see a little bit less sunshine. Showers and storms move in on Friday. We'll be right back.
Mouthwash with no burn.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 6:30, Indiana's Attorney General taking action after an RTV6 report on a mobile home park on the southwest side of Indianapolis. The lawsuit now being filed that could keep residents in their homes.
And a building with a long history here in Indianapolis hit by a vehicle overnight. We'll show you the damage left behind this out-of-control car.
And an Indiana family's dream move to Florida has become a nightmare. The reason the moving truck with all their belongings is still sitting parked here in Indianapolis. 6:30 on your Thursday morning. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Alyssa Donovan is also with us this morning, taking a look at really the big talker right now, and that is the fog that's settling in.
Yes, and it is spreading quickly across central Indiana. We saw it just mostly here in Indy this morning, but it has spread north and south. It's focusing on those river valleys and those areas around lakes, but it is going to impact your morning commute. So this is our live look at our sales tower cam, and you can see just how foggy it is. We have these low-level clouds out there. Our other Weather Now cams aren't even picking up anything. They're so dark. This is the only one I've been able to use today, and that is because that visibility is way down. We're down to just a quarter mile of visibility in Indianapolis, just about 1.5 miles in Zionsville, a half a mile of visibility in Greenfield, and we're starting to see that spread a little bit more northward now. We're down to just about a half a mile of visibility in Frankfort, a mile and a half in Sheridan. So just be aware as you head out this morning. We're going to continue to see that spread until about sunrise. Then we'll start to see that dissipate and burn off as we hit those daytime highs today. So what we're seeing is we have this system just off to our west that's starting to build in. That's going to bring us a little bit more cloud coverage as we head through the day. We're not going to see quite as much sunshine as what we saw yesterday. Temperatures starting warmer this morning as well, and that's because we had those cloudy conditions overnight. We have that moisture in the air. We are starting in the 50s, then we will climb into the 60s by the noon hour.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. And you've been talking about the fog, and here's a live look at it that will impact you for your commute over here on the near east side of town, I-70 near Rural Street and Keystone Avenue. Traffic's really picking up both eastbound and westbound. The good news, no major crashes to report around the metro area. But again, you'll run into this fog in a number of parts here in central Indiana. So slow down, use those low beam headlights.
We were the first to tell you about a mobile home park on the southwest side telling its residents they had 60 days to pack up and move out.
Well, some of those mobile homes, they're not so mobile. And after hearing nothing from their park owners, residents of that I-70 mobile home park reached out to us here at RTV6. Now, this morning, the Attorney General is stepping in and taking action against those park owners.
Our own Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning from the mobile home park with the very latest. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so residents here at the I-70 mobile park are waking up knowing that their voices were heard because of this right here, a lawsuit filed by Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill and his office against the Blue Lakes Incorporated, the owners of this park. In August, Blue Lakes Incorporated told residents they had to either move their mobile homes from the property or they would be demolished on October 15th. Residents called RTV6 looking for help after being left with a list of questions and very few answers on why they had to leave the property. Some of them telling us they paid months in advance to rent the plot their home sits on. In August, we brought a lawyer to the park to give the residents some legal answers. Chase Holler, an attorney with Christian Legal Clinic, came to the park, and after answering several legal questions, he gave residents complaint forms for the Attorney General's office. He said if enough people submit their concerns, it might get the attention of state officials, and it looks like it did. The Attorney General's office is going after Blue Lakes Incorporated for deceptive consumer sales, knowingly violating the Consumer Sales Act, not obtaining permits to sell mobile homes in Marion County, and exploiting senior citizens who paid for mobile homes they never received titles for as required by Indiana law. Now, we just spoke to a resident here this morning, and she says this is nice, but she wants to see more. She said she's still having to deal with the burden and having to figure out where to live, where to go. She's got 2 kids, and she says this burden's also being put on them. We'll continue to update you on this story as it continues to develop. Live on the southeast side, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
All right, Kelsey, thank you. This is a story we have been following closely from the very beginning. If you would like to read more about the struggles for people living at that mobile home park, just head to our website, theindychannel.com. All those stories are also just a click away on the RTV6 mobile app. And if you've got a problem and you feel like you are not getting the answers you deserve, we would love to help you get the help you need. All you need to do is reach out for us at Working For You at RTV6.com.
Here at 6:34, we are staying on top of breaking news this morning. This is from the north side of downtown. A historic building damaged overnight after a car crashed into it this morning. Officers and firefighters were called out to the building at 16th and Delaware around 2:30. The crash created a hole in this brick structure and it left the car badly damaged. A 26-year-old man was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The cause of the crash is unknown at this time. This is not the first time a vehicle has collided with this building.
This morning, former Marion County Deputy Prosecutor Jeremy Johnson is facing domestic battery charges after he was arrested. He was formerly charged with criminal confinement with moderate bodily injury, strangulation, domestic battery committed in the presence of a child less than 16, and domestic battery. According to Michael Leffler, a spokesperson for the prosecutor's office, Johnson resigned before he was arrested on Wednesday. A special prosecutor has been appointed to the case. Johnson's initial hearing is scheduled for later this morning.
Here at at 6:35, a fifth person from Indiana has died following a small plane crash near Michigan Airport. The 48-year-old pilot, Joel Bevins of Franklin, was one of 6 people on the plane leaving from Indy South Greenwood Airport last week. He suffered from his injuries on Sunday. The National Transportation Board released a preliminary report on the crash, saying the plane had no history of unresolved airworthiness issues, but it did note that the plane was about 120 pounds over the maximum landing weight when it crashed.
Authorities in Illinois have discovered more fetal remains that were kept by an Indiana abortion doctor. This is in addition to the more than 2,000 fetal remains discovered at the Illinois home of Dr. Ulrich Klompfer, who died in September. Yesterday, investigators found remains in a car parked in a lot in the suburbs of Chicago. The sheriff's office in Will County says Klompfer owned 8 vehicles, and in the trunk of one, they found fewer than 100 remains kept in a box. Klompfer performed abortions at Indiana clinics located in Fort Wayne, Gary, and South Bend. The remains found last month have been returned to Indiana for investigation under Attorney General Curtis Hill. At 6:37 this morning, a newly released 911 call sheds light on scary moments when a woman called police to report an apartment building fire on this area of town.
Is everyone out of the building?
No, they're coming out a window. There's kids. They can't get down. The mom's inside. There's you need to hurry, please.
Well, police releasing this body camera video. This was from Tuesday morning's fire at Cumberland Manor Apartments. 3 IMPD officers and a Cumberland police officer kicked in the door of one apartment and saved a couple and their 7-year-old boy.
First thing that we saw that I remember is a little boy laying on the couch there in the front room, obviously sleeping. They had no idea what was going on.
It wasn't even just about us being police officers, firefighters being firefighters. It's people coming together as people. And, I even saw, neighbors comforting neighbors.
A 40-year-old woman who lived in the apartment where the fire was started was taken to a hospital in critical condition. A couple is finally seeing some results this morning after they came to RTV6 for help. They moved from Indianapolis to Florida last week, but everything they own is still here in Indiana. Brandon and Randy Johnson just moved to Florida, with Brandon taking a job at Disney World and Randy working as a social worker. The longtime Perry Township couple packed up their belongings, but the move turned sour when the truck carrying everything they own is still sitting parked here in Indianapolis.
They keep telling us more than once, being rude. Well, if there was anything personal or valuable, you should have took it with you. My whole house is personal and valuable, and they have all of it.
The Johnsons say they were assured their belongings would arrive in Florida on the 5th at the earliest, way before Brandon starts his new job on the 12th. Brandon says he needs his toolbox inside that truck to start working. We called the moving company, Florida-based Empire Moving Group, trying to get answers, but the supervisor wouldn't answer any of our questions. But just minutes after talking to RTV6, though, that same supervisor called the Johnsons, offering them a full refund and help make arrangements for the Johnsons to pick up the stuff themselves.
Well, some drivers are concerned with how the Indiana Department of Transportation is treating crumbling roads. Last week, INDOT laid down what's called chip and seal to fill cracks on State Road 234 out in Hancock County. Tony Seiler says that method can kick up rocks and cause damage to vehicles. He also feels that it's dangerous for motorcycle riders like himself. Chip and seal is a more affordable method of road repair. When it comes to State Road 234 specifically, INDOT tells RTV6 that road was resurfaced about 3 years ago.
Hiring Hoosiers is focusing on opportunities for higher education and entrepreneurship in central Indiana. Resources for both will be available Friday and Saturday at the Indiana Latino Expo. For the 4th year in a row, the Indiana Commission for Higher Education will be at the Expo for its college and career fair. They expect hundreds of students to stop by for more information about Indiana's Early College Promise program, the college admissions process, and filling out financial aid forms. The Commission for Higher Education will even let students apply for IU for free. The Indiana Latino Expo Education Fair is happening Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can find the expo at the Indiana State Fairgrounds Blue Ribbon Pavilion.
This morning, Turkish forces ramping up their military action in Syria, while the Trump administration is saying about its decision to pull troops from that country.
And people all across California are waking up without power this morning. The reason the power company there has intentionally cut power to near nearly 1 million people. Alyssa.
And this morning we are starting with some issues. We have patchy fog overspreading central Indiana. Visibility is way down. Coming up, I'll have details on what you need to know before you head out on the roads.
Shine brighter than you ever thought possible.
Welcome back. It is 6:43 on your Thursday, and the big story in the weather department this morning is the fog. This could impact your drive to work or school. This is a view from our Salesforce Tower looking south, and you can see the fog really settling in over the area. Now, despite all the fog out there, we did check. No school delays to report around central Indiana at this time.
This morning, the military offensive in northern Syria is growing. Turkey is escalating its attacks on Kurdish fighters who are longtime U.S. allies that help fight ISIS. Turkish forces launched airstrike and artillery, and now troops have begun a ground attack. They are targeting Kurdish fighters that the government of Turkey considers to be terrorists. This comes just days after President Trump abruptly pulled U.S. troops from the region. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has pushed back against allegations the president gave Turkey the green light for invasion. The Kurds have been on the front lines against ISIS, fighting alongside American forces for years. But now those fighters, once guarding ISIS prisons, are being pulled away to reinforce the front line against Turkey. American Airlines say they will not fly Boeing MAX 737 planes for the rest of the year. The planes were grounded earlier this year after 2 deadly crashes that killed more than 300 people. American Airlines says it expects the planes to be approved for flight in January. Boeing thought the plane would return sooner, but more problems were discovered during testing. American Airlines also says it is now working on a new policy to allow passengers to opt out of flying on the 737 MAX.
This morning, more than 800,000 people out in California are waking up without power. And this massive outage, it's all part of a plan to prevent wildfires. The California power company PG&E decided to cut power to hundreds of thousands of people this week. The forecast of strong winds in the region of Northern California is posing a major fire danger. Some people could be without power for at least a week. So why are they cutting the power? You may wonder. Well, some of the deadliest wildfires that we've seen in Northern California have been blamed on downed power lines. That includes the Camp Fire last year that killed 85 people and destroyed thousands of homes.
And while the West Coast is preparing for the threat of wildfires, much of the center of the country is dealing with their first big snowfall of the season. A powerful storm could bring up to 2 feet of snow to the northern central part of the United States over the next few days. The snow will be falling from Montana to Colorado and across the Dakotas and Minnesota. Record low temperatures are also expected today and tomorrow. Even parts of northern Texas could dip below freezing. And at 6:45 here at home, we've enjoyed a really nice week of weather.
Yeah, it's been beautiful out there, but we do know some changes are on the way, so let's check in with Alyssa Donovan.
That's right. So that system that's bringing all that snow to some of those areas, that's going to impact us as we head into tomorrow. So we have this deep low pressure system bringing snow into the Dakotas and into Montana and Colorado. That's going to bring us the potential of showers and thunderstorms. Now, as it approaches, it is also pushing in a lot of cloud coverage and moisture, which is why this morning we are seeing some cloud coverage and foggy conditions. We are pointed northwest with our Salesforce cam rather, and we are seeing those clouds close to the surface. That's helping trap that moisture, which is causing that fog this morning. We're down to just a 1/4 mile of visibility here in Indianapolis, 1/2 mile of visibility down in Columbus. This is spreading mostly along river valleys and around lakes. We're at 2 miles of visibility in Lafayette. Some of those areas to the north, we are seeing about 2 miles of visibility in Washington and Fishers. Just as you head out this morning, be aware of that, because you are going to need to give yourself a little bit of extra time during your morning commute. As we head through the day, those clouds building in right now, we'll continue to see that build in throughout our afternoon. Temperatures starting in the 50s this morning, so not nearly as cold as we were yesterday. There's still that moisture in the air as well ahead of that system, so it feels a little bit humid outside. It's not uncomfortable. You're just going to notice it's a little bit warmer. Temperatures will climb into the low 70s by the noon hour. It's going to be a great day to get outside and enjoy that, but we're not going to see quite as much sunshine. So those temperatures will be nice, but we won't see as much sun, and that's just ahead of that system that's moving in. So we'll see partly cloudy skies today, a little bit more cloud coverage this afternoon. Stray shower or thunderstorm possible for northwest counties tonight. Most of the activity, though, is going to hold off until tomorrow for many of us. We'll see that really move into central Indiana on Friday, starting with the potential of showers and storms in the morning. Most of that activity will be to the northwest. Then we'll see a little bit of a lull period midday before the bulk of that system moves through in the afternoon, late afternoon, and early evening overnight. So here's a look at what I'm talking about on TrueCast. Friday morning at 7:30, areas to the north will start to see those showers and storms move in, and then we'll see that lull period before the rest of the system really tracks across the region. That's going to be late afternoon, early evening, and overnight. Now, the good news with this, it's moving very quickly, so likely we'll be out of the area by Saturday morning. The thing it's leaving behind, much cooler air. This is going to be the coolest temperatures that we've seen this season so far. Saturday morning, we'll start in the 30s, and then we'll see those temperatures climbing only into the 50s by the afternoon. Might see our first frost this weekend, Saturday night into Sunday morning. Sunday will be into the mid-60s. So we are going to see a little bit more of a temperature drop over the next couple days here. Today, 79 for the high, partly sunny skies, storms likely tomorrow. Again, we could see a stray shower or storm late tonight for extreme northwest counties, but most of us will see that activity for Friday. Much cooler on Saturday, stabilizing by Sunday and Monday, then more chances of storms as we head into Tuesday.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Here's a live look right now at traffic over on the east side, I-465 and I-70, where traffic's picking up in all directions, but traveling up to speed. The main issue you'll run into this morning is the fog. No crashes here on the east side to slow you down.
Instagram has removed a feature that some users felt was a little stalkerish. The following tab allows people to see their friends' likes, follows, and comments. Its original goal was to help people discover new content, but sometimes it gave users too much information about their friends' private Instagram activity. The company says that it has already started removing the tab and will have it gone by the end of the week.
Well, you may have to pay more money at the post office next year. The U.S. Postal Service is proposing an increase in prices to start January 26th. The price of Priority Mail Express would go up by 3.5%. Priority Mail would increase by 4.1%. Some services, like basic letters and postcards, will not be impacted. Postal Service officials say the new rates will keep the service competitive. The Postal Regulatory Commission still needs to improve that increase.
It was a landmark in Indianapolis that stood for nearly half a century. Just ahead in our Throwback Thursday, we're looking back at the end of a long run for an iconic restaurant.
Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
Welcome back. We are monitoring the fog this morning for your commute, and here's a live look at Monument Circle. You can see the reduced visibility right here in downtown Indianapolis, so use caution on your drive to work or school.
The jet lag for the Indiana Pacers may have finally worn off. The blue and gold are getting set for their first preseason game on American soil. The Pacers played their first two preseason games all the way over in India last week. The team ended up winning both of their games against the Kings, but now look to settle into a more normal routine. Tomorrow night, they'll welcome the Chicago Bulls to Bankers Life Fieldhouse. The blue and gold are working toward the regular season opener on October 23rd against the Detroit Pistons.
And the Major League Baseball playoffs are rolling right along, and last night there was a stunner on the diamond. Los Angeles Dodgers were eliminated by the Washington Nationals. The Dodgers were cruising along until the 8th inning when Clayton Kershaw gave back-to-back home runs, allowing Washington to tie the game. The Nationals broke things open in the 10th inning with a grand slam home run by Howie Kendrick, giving them a 7-3 victory. It's a stunning exit for the Dodgers, who finished with the second-best record in all of baseball.
And the Nationals will now face the St. Louis Cardinals in the National League Championship Series. The Cardinals won their own deciding game on Wednesday in historic fashion. St. Louis scored 10 runs in the first inning to top the Atlanta Braves 13-1. 10 runs is the most ever scored in the first inning of a playoff game ever. The NLCS gets started tomorrow night.
And there are still two teams looking to advance into the next round of the playoffs. Tonight, the Tampa Bay Rays and the Houston Astros will play a decisive Game 5. The Astros are hoping a home field advantage tonight will help them avoid blowing a 2-game lead in the series. The winner will advance to face the Yankees in the ALCS. First pitch for tonight's game is set for 7 o'clock.
It is that time of the week once again where we dive into the RTV6 vaults and take a look into the past.
That's right. In today's Throwback Thursday, we're taking you back more than 3 decades to the closure of an iconic restaurant right here in Indianapolis. The TP restaurant was opened back in 1939 at the intersection of 38th Street and Fall Creek Parkway. The drive-in restaurant with its unique architecture became a landmark for traveling motorists and a popular hangout for young people.
The restaurant went through many changes over the years, but by 1984, it was in big trouble. 35 years ago today, the owner defaulted on rent and the restaurant was closed. It was a tough blow for people who'd been coming there for years.
When you've been doing it all your life, you know, it's off and on, and your parents have been going there, you know, it's going to affect a lot of people.
Many people have a fond feeling in their hearts for that building. A lot of people in Indianapolis, I think, have maybe taken their wife there on their first date or have other ties to it. And in that respect, I think it may be a sad day for the city.
It's had its day. As a young man, I cherished it. I went there as a single young man, but I'd rather live in the happy memories of what it was than to see the deplorable condition it's in now.
Oh, well, there were numerous efforts to save the TP, and it was even added to the National Register of Historic Places.
But all those efforts didn't work, and the demolition of the TP restaurant began in June of 1988.
And if you'd like to see more of this story or any of our other Throwback Thursday stories, just head on over to the IndyChannel.com/history. Probably a lot of people watching right now that say, oh, yeah, I remember going there.
Yep.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we do want to get to another big issue right now, and that's in the weather department.
Yeah, there's a lot of fog out there.
Yeah, so we are seeing that patchy fog continue to spread across the area. I want to show you that one more time. We're down to just a 1/4 mile of visibility in Indianapolis, a 1/2 mile of visibility in Columbus. That will dissipate right around sunrise. Then today, 79 for our high, partly sunny skies. Those temperatures staying warm tomorrow as well. Storms likely for your Friday, and then we have much cooler air moving in on Saturday.
And Alyssa, we do have some breaking news just into the newsroom. We know that a woman was shot and killed here at this gas station. This is the 3000 block of Midhofer Road. Our photographer is here at the scene working to gather more information. We'll have that coming up for you on the RTV6 app and also throughout Good Morning America.
We are back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates. We appreciate you watching, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.